Hi there, Angela Turton from Action Coach in Oakham. Welcome to the latest Lunch and Learn. Hopefully you've got something nice to eat in front of you, and we're going to be talking today about boundaries and balancing. One of the things we find coming up to Christmas is that a lot of business owners have a lot to juggle. There's all the demands of the family coming up to Christmas, and there's the demands of the business, because quite often December is a very short month for most businesses. They have a week off in between, and quite often people just give up just before Christmas. So there's a lot of work to do in that period. So we're going to try and give you some hints and tips in the run up to Christmas. Now we're to try and work out what it is that you can do to make it easier for yourself and for your business. So as I say, many of our business owners find themselves in overwhelm in this period. There's just simply too much to do. People coming at them from all angles, and especially at the moment when we've had all of these problems with coronavirus and time off, and businesses don't really know whether they're coming or going or what they want to do. So really, we are finding that actually the mental health of the business owner is one of the most important things. If you've got a robust mental health, then actually you're probably likely to be able to get through this situation. So let's see what we can do to help. So the first thing we want to talk about is boundaries. And boundaries are not the physical boundaries we saw on the first slide. We're not talking about the castle walls, erecting moats and balustrades and things to keep people away. What we're talking about here is the things that you can do to stop people taking up your time. So the first thing is to decide where your boundaries lie. So we've seen, we all see the news, we all see lots of things going on. We see what's happening in far-flung places of the globe that we've never been to. We see what's happening with lots of people that we've never known and never met. And there are elements that say we should be concerned about these things. Even closer is our own country, our politics, our what is happening in the world, what we feel we can control. Or we are hearing a lot about. Now, these may be places we've visited, maybe places where we've got friends and family. And then inside of that, you've got actually what you can do to help. And what you can do to help is probably quite limited. And you have to remember that actually it's in this area that you should be spending most of your thought processes and most of your time. What can you actually do? So those things that are of concern, maybe you should know about them, but actually don't spend too much time worrying about them. So it's up to you to define where your circles end and where they start. Think about what you want to achieve and what you can influence, and be clear on what your boundaries are. So you decide. So for most of us, the initial circle will be yourself. I'm starting with yourself because it's very important that you look after yourself. It's very important that you yourself are well and able to then look after somebody else. So from our own little person, we move out to our next circle. Our nearest and dearest for most of us, again, this is our family, our friends, the people we work with, people that we care about. And these are the people that we'll drop anything for. If my children ring in the middle of this seminar, I will be dropping everything for them. And beyond that, we have our work, what we do for ourselves, you know, what it is that we work at, whether that's as in employed route or whether that's as our business owners. And then with got others. Who else are we going to be concerned about? And as you move out of this circle, you'll find that your boundaries become more concrete. So, for example, we won't necessarily drop everything for somebody we work with, but we would for our children or our families, our spouses. So if they call, we answer, whereas we may delay our answer for some of the other people. And as we move out, maybe into our neighborhood, maybe further out into the world and into the country, we actually are not going to be responding quite as quickly to their requests. There are some fantastic people out there who can respond very quickly to other people and to people they've never met before. I have the greatest admiration for these people, but if that's not you, do not feel guilty and do not feel that you should be emulating what they're doing, because you have to decide where your boundaries are. So what is the best way of setting boundaries? Well, as Nike said, no, it wasn't Nike, I apologize. Just say no. Nike said just do it, didn't they? So just say no. Now, this is not easy to do. I don't know if any of you ever tried it, but it's not easy to say no. And if you are one of those people who always says yes to everything and then regrets it, maybe the thing to do is to find a buddy, a no buddy with, that you can buddy up with and practice saying no to. You know, they can ask you for things and you can say, no, not doing that. But there are softer ways that we can do it. And I think you have to find the way that fits you. And so once you've set your boundaries and you know who it is you're going to be saying no to, or at least pretending to say no to, then you can start to practice how you are going to say no, thank you. Because what we're looking for here is we're looking for a scenario where everybody wins. We're looking for that win-win scenario. You're looking to make sure that that you're not giving everything and not receiving anything, or that you are taking everything and the other person who they themselves have no boundaries and they are the ones that are giving. If neither of us are okay, if both parties are unhappy with the situation, which happens so often when we have a compromise situation, then you need to revisit that, because it's not going to work for either of you. So we're looking for the win-win. So when we're talking about saying no, we're looking for that win-win situation. So how do we go about reintroducing our boundaries? Because we've all had those situations where we've let it slip. We've said to ourselves, don't want to do this, but you've ended up saying yes anyway. So acknowledge that you've done it in the past, and then say, I'm no longer able to do that, and work out a new way that is a win-win situation. So in the past, I have run the Christmas Fete stall on the Tombola or something like that. I've been able to help, but I'm no longer able to help with the current situation. I don't want to be in a hall with people. I don't want to be willing to do that. The children aren't at the school anymore, whatever it is. I'm not able to help anymore. But what I can do is I can give you some gifts for that stall. So you're working out a way that you can still help, but it's not something that you're absolutely having to do. So if in the past somebody's behaviour has irritated you, but you have allowed it to slip, then maybe you'll be able to say, in the past, I've allowed you to be rude to me about this, that, and the other, but I'm not going to allow that to pass anymore. In the future, can you please moderate your language? Can you please not swear at me? Can you, all of those things, work out a way that you can help. And this gives us an idea of how we're going to be saying to others what we can do, and how to work out. So instead of saying the no, we're saying, no, that doesn't, I can't do that, but I can do this. So whenever you're talking to somebody, if they're saying, can you do that? Instead of saying no, 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 you can say, you acknowledge their request. I hear what you're trying to, you're asking me, but I'm not able to help you in that way. How about I can do this for you? And you set the boundary of where you want to do. So you've chosen your boundary, you've chosen those people that you want to help. And then we're going to look at how you then manage all the tasks. Now, most of us would love to feel that we're balancing all the balls in one hand, we're serene, it looks good, and we're standing there juggling with ease all of the things that come against us. In reality, quite often we feel a bit like a circus show. The worry is that something is going to drop any minute now, and it's not as easy as it looks. Other people seemingly make these things look so easy. How did they manage to get that to balance when I'm trying to do this, everything's falling out of my hands and I just cannot do it. So don't fall into that gap. Think about yourself, think about how you can do it and what you can do, and we're back to that overwhelm. And that comparison with others can often really push our overwhelm over the top. How do they do it and we can't? And that guilt and real worry about what's happening really does push us a little bit further. So that's the first thing to lose, is that comparison with others. Don't allow what others are doing, because you don't know what support they've got, you don't know what's happening inside their bodies. So stop comparing with others. So what do we do first with we're feeling this overwhelm? So lots of tea involved. Dump it out. Get a piece of paper or a computer and just put everything onto the screen. I've said this many times before. Just dump it out. Get it out of your head and onto the piece of paper, because your head will have trouble with things. It doesn't really prioritize until you can start thinking through. So if you've got things coming at you for all directions, just take it out of your head and put it on a piece of paper. That very act of removing it from your head, a bit like in the Harry Potter films and the books, where Dumbledore had the wand that he was able to get things out of his head and put them somewhere so that they were safe. So get it out, dump it out. Then I've said go and get a cup of tea. Now, if tea is not your thing, please don't feel that it's a vital part of this this process. Just what I'm trying to say here is have a pause. Go sit in the garden, have a cup of coffee, drink a glass of water, talk to the dog, whatever it is, just so you've got a little bit of pause from the dump to actually getting in and doing the work on the dump. So when you come back, you look at your list and you cross off those things that can wait, because they're not important right now. And everybody will have a different list. Everybody will have a different things that they can feel they can wait. And then you prioritize what's left into the A, B, C, D. A, absolutely has to happen. B, it would be good if it happened today. C, it could happen today, but it can wait. And D, it doesn't have to happen. And then rank A's 1 to 5, the B's 1 to 5, etc. And then go and get a cup of tea and start doing this again. It's a pause rather than a cup of tea prescribed. But do stop for a minute, have a think, then come back and just get on and do the first thing on the list. So that's our overwhelm first aid. There's only 4 things you can do with a task. The 4 Ds. You can either do it. This is the Nike saying. You can either do it. You can defer it. So decide that you're going to do it at a later date and put the date that you're doing it on that day, against that item. You can dump it. It may no longer be relevant. I've got a string of emails that refer to seminars that I would have liked to watch, but they've gone. So I'm just going to dump those tasks when I get round to doing my list. Or you can delegate. Now, most of us struggle with this. I struggle with this, but if you've got somebody to delegate it to, then do think who you can delegate it to. It may not be an employee. It may be there'll be somebody else in your family, maybe your husband, maybe your children even, that you can delegate work stuff to. And if you don't have anybody to delegate, then make a note of those issues, because that may be your next hire. That may be the person that you look for next. Somebody that, if you've got a lot of things that you need to delegate but you haven't got anybody to, then you can start working out who your next hire is. So remember the 4 Ds when you're going through your list. So again, we have a slightly different way of looking at it. But again, A, it's absolutely essential it happens. B, it would be good if it happened today. C, it could happen. If I run out of everything, of A's and B's, I could do it, but actually it could happen tomorrow as well. D is for delegate and E is for eliminate. So you've now got the delegate in there as well. And please, use your own system, whatever works for you. This has worked for so many people that it's quite a useful one to learn. And again, you rank what you need to do and you get rid of it. I don't actually know why we've managed to rank E in there, because if you're going to eliminate something, it doesn't really matter if they're top of the list to be eliminated or last. Just get rid of them. Do be careful if you're delegating, that you actually do delegate and not abdicate. It's D for a reason, not A. So make sure you follow the rules of delegation, which we've talked about in previous leadership seminars. So the last thing I want to say is that when you are stuck in this constant hamster wheel of things that have to be doing, things that have to do, is remember your why. Come back to it time and time again. Maybe reflect in the evening or first thing in the morning about why you're in business and what you are doing. Is this a reason to be here? Because once you can hold on to your why, you will be able to get on and do something. Those people who do have a why can bear any how. So if you know why you're doing something, you will get through it. If you hold on to that, then whatever you're being thrown, whatever horribleness is being thrown at you at the moment, you will get through it. So thank you for listening. I hope that's been of help to some people. Please, if you could follow us in either a new Action Coach Oakham LinkedIn page. That's where we're putting a lot of updates on. Please come back and look at our Facebook page. There are lots of competitions and freebies we're giving out in there, and also all news of our webinars will be on there as well. We have a new business hub on Facebook, so if you would like to become a member of that, it is a private group. Please message us at Facebook on our Facebook page, and we will get you an invitation sent over. So next week, Rupert will be here to interview. I'm not sure who he's interviewing, but we will let you know on the Facebook page. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, hope you have a lovely rest of lunch, and we will speak to you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.